Welcome to Grandpa Appalachian Storytime Tales. Round here, stories ain't just told. They're handed down like heirlooms. Pull up a chair, pour yourself a cup of something warm, and sit back and enjoy. There once lived a woman named Clara May, tucked away in a one-room cabin at the foot of Pine Ridge Mountain. Clara didn't have much, just a little garden patch, a few chickens, and her faith to keep her steady. But what she did have, she shared. Every Saturday, Clara baked up her cornbread in a cast-iron skillet, blackened from years of use. The smell of that bread drifted through the holler, mixing with wood smoke and pine. And every week, Clara left a basket of bread out on her porch. Folks passing through could take what they needed, sometimes just a slice, sometimes the whole loaf. She never asked names, never asked for thanks. She just said, "If you're hungry, there's a place for you here." Now, one winter, the coal mines closed down. Men lost their wages. Mothers stretched beans and potatoes to fill bellies. Children wore shoes with holes in the toes. Times were lean. The cold pressed heavy on every home. But even then, when neighbors walked by Clara May's porch, the basket was never empty. Bread, biscuits, sometimes even a jar of apple butter, if she had enough to spare. Folks whispered she was a blessing sent straight from heaven. But you see, even angels in these hills grow weary. One February morning, the snow lay deep as a quilt, and Clara May could barely rise from her bed. Fever burned through her, and her hands, those same hands that had kneaded bread for so many, trembled too much to stir flour. That Saturday, the basket on her porch sat empty for the first time in years. Neighbors noticed. They knocked softly at her door, but Clara May was too weak to answer. All they saw was the quiet cabin, the stillness, and that empty basket. The next morning, Clara May awoke to a surprise. There on her porch sat the old basket, but it wasn't empty. No, sir. Inside was a ham wrapped in brown paper, a sack of potatoes, and 3 jars of green beans. There was even a bundle of kindling wood, tied neat with twine. And every week that winter, more food appeared. Soup beans, corn, quilts, and once even a pair of warm socks. Clara May had spent years caring for her neighbors, and now they were caring for her. What she gave away in love came back tenfold. By springtime, Clara May was strong again. But something had changed in the hollow. Folks no longer kept to themselves. They shared. One family raised hogs and gave meat. Another grew a bigger garden and passed out tomatoes. The children carried baskets back and forth like little couriers of kindness. It wasn't about who had the most. It was about making sure no one had nothing. From then on, whenever times grew hard in the mountains, you could bet someone's porch basket would be filled. Sometimes Clara May's, sometimes another's. That small act of love had rippled out, turning neighbors into kin. Well, thank y'all for listening to Grandpa's Appalachian Storytime Tales. And for more tales, please like, share, and subscribe.